Picture this. C. Montgomery Burns, the man who owns everything in Springfield, decides he wants more. And what's more valuable in a digital age than control over social media? So he hatches his plan, which I expect to go something like this. Step 1. Monetize everything. The first move in the Burns playbook is that Burns doesn't care about free. He makes you pay to even exist on his platform. You want to post your thoughts? You better be ready to cough up. Each like, comment, and reshare, that's all pay per click. You want to send a private message? That'll be another $5.
$5? Get out of here.
And with BurnsNet, he'd introduce a whole new world where every interaction comes at a cost. It isn't just social media, it's social capitalism at its finest.
Don't worry, Smithers, he's playing hardball now.
Step 2. Burn the competition to the ground.
Burn them all!
Burns is all about owning it all. It's not about improving the platforms out there, it's about taking them over. Meta, Burns owns it. Twitter, that's his too. Instagram, TikTok, whatever. He has the keys.
Almost sexual, isn't it, Smithers?
You want to start your own platform? Too bad. Burns has bought out the market, and now you're stuck with his rules. It's not about innovation, it's about monopoly. Now that Burns has cornered the market, it's time for phase 2. This man doesn't play fair. He plays to win. And when it comes to social media, that means manipulating the people. The more they fight, the more they post. And the more they post, the more he profits. Step 1. Feed the people what they crave. Controversy, outrage, drama. Burns knows his AI algorithm doesn't care about good content. It just wants engagement. Whether it's an all-out Twitter war or a heated political debate, he makes sure you're never bored. And trust me, he's not in the business of keeping things civil. Step 2. Stir the pot for clicks. Instead of content you'd want to see, he's feeding you exactly what gets a reaction. Conspiracy theories? Get in line. Cancel culture? It's viral all over his platform. You're not here for facts, you're here for fire. He'd create chaos in a way no other platform can. It's not about creating community, it's about keeping people engaged and glued to their screens, no matter what it takes. So, we've talked about what happens when Burns creates the perfect platform, but here's the kicker. Social media is a mess, and every social media giant eventually screws up. But Mr. Burns, he's not about to backpedal. He doubles, triples down. And his game plan for handling a social media scandal? Step 1. Blame the interns. With any scandal, Burns would throw someone under the bus faster than you can say, "I didn't do it." It's always the intern's fault. PR teams would roll out a message. "An unfortunate error by one of our underpaid interns caused this issue. They have been terminated. Moving on." Step 2. Distract with a feel-good campaign. Who cares if privacy issues just blew up? Burns will throw a charity event with a tiny donation for every retweet. Boom! Crisis solved. Or at least it looks like it. It's a classic throwing money at the problem doesn't fix it, but it sure distracts people for a while. While the world is distracted by some half-baked campaign, the issue festers in the background. Step 3. Leak a bigger scandal. If people are still mad about that breach, just throw out another story about a celebrity's DMs and suddenly no one's paying attention to your privacy issues anymore. It's simple. Create a bigger distraction and people forget about the last problem. When it comes to social media scandals, Burns knows how to keep the internet focused on whatever he wants. As much as I'd love to say that this would be a total disaster, let's be real, some of this would actually work. Monopoly power wins every single time. Burns would follow the same playbook as tech giants like Meta, buying out every competing platform and consolidating power. Want an alternative? Sorry, Burns owns those too. People love chaos. Burns wouldn't even need to make a good platform. He'd just let the drama unfold. Controversial policies, mass firings, and bizarre tweets from corporate accounts would keep people coming back, much like how Twitter users refuse to leave. Engagement over ethics always wins. Every time a controversy blows up, advertisers panic, but then they return because nobody wants to miss out on such a massive audience. Burns knows that as long as those numbers keep growing, companies will continue paying for ad space. And finally, appealing to extremes works. Mr. Burns would capitalize on a strategy social media already uses, feeding people content that reinforces their current worldview. If users love conspiracy theories, he'll make sure they only see conspiracy theories. If they love outrage, they'll get non-stop moral panic posts. He will retain and keep them in their own ecosystems.
And now, our feature presentation.
Let's be honest, this would also be a complete train wreck. There will be horrible public image. Burns has the PR skills of a Disney villain who doesn't even try to seem friendly. Unlike real tech CEOs who at least pretend to be relatable, Burns would straight up say, "Yes, I am evil and you will pay me for it." Users would revolt over fees. No one wants to pay for everything.
Oh, you'll pay. Don't think you won't pay.
A site where even basic interactions cost money would drive users away in record time. Even Twitter Blue has struggled to attract paying users, and that at least offers some perks. Scandals would be never-ending. Burns would have the worst track record in tech history. There'd be daily lawsuits, regulatory investigations, and internal whistleblowers. By the time one scandal dies down, 5 more would pop up. Employee turnover would be absurd. Burns' treatment of employees would be so bad that no one would last more than a few months. The company would constantly be in shambles due to mass resignations and legal disputes. Burns would eventually be forced to testify before Congress. But unlike Zuckerberg, who at least tries to explain himself in some kind of robotic lizard human form, Burns would just insult the politicians questioning him. Okay, let's take a step back. As ridiculous as this whole scenario is, there's actually a lot we can learn about marketing and business from Burns' chaotic approach. It's not all evil genius. Some of this is just good old-fashioned business strategy. Lesson 1. Monopolies aren't always bad for business. In the world of business, sometimes owning a market is the only way to ensure success. Burns understands this. He'd buy out every competitor and consolidate his power. For social media, that means one platform to rule them all. Sure, it would make everything worse for the user, but if you control everything, you control the game. Dominating your market means eliminating competition. It's about owning the space. But, and this is important, it's only sustainable if you keep your customers happy. Burns, of course, doesn't care about that, but you should. Lesson 2. Chaos can be profitable. Burns' method of keeping people engaged: stir the pot, create chaos, let drama unfold, and watch the views, likes, and comments roll in. We've all seen it. Controversies, bad PR, and drama create buzz, and that means engagement. And in the short term, it's like fishing with dynamite. You catch a lot quickly. Here's the catch. If you don't manage it properly, it will blow up in your face. Don't rely on controversy for long-term growth. In business, engagement is crucial, but sustainability matters more. Keep your brand image consistent and trustworthy, because once people tire of the drama, they will leave. Lesson number 3. Artificial scarcity can drive up demand. Remember how Burns would put everything behind paywalls? It's like creating a VIP club that everyone wants to be a part of. Limited access can increase perceived value and make people want what they can't have.
Sorry, I gotta go!
Limited access or exclusive products and services can generate excitement and drive demand. But just like Burns, if you make everything scarce, you'll eventually run out of customers and people willing to pay. Lesson number 4, capitalize on the money. Burns knows how to make money, let's be clear. Whether it's by charging for interactions, owning the market, or creating a system that makes users pay for the privilege of being on his platform, the goal is clear: maximize profits. And hey, that's smart business. But the real lesson here is to find as many opportunities as you can to monetize your product or service, but also be mindful of your customers' willingness to pay. Lesson number 5, owning everything doesn't always mean improving it. Burns doesn't care about innovation. He cares about ownership. But you don't need to constantly innovate to dominate. Sometimes it's about controlling the playing field. This is a tough one because eventually consumers want better experiences, but for a while, owning the game can work. So, would Mr. Burns actually succeed? Maybe for a while, but in the long run, there's not a chance. Social media needs a balance between power and relatability, and Burns has neither. His empire would thrive on chaos until it completely burned itself out. Basically, we don't need Mr. Burns to ruin social media. The platforms we already have are doing that just fine. Ooh, Mr. Burns, he's an old guy. If you'd like to see more pop culture business dives like this one, then please consider subscribing. And don't forget, keep on trucking. Did you just say keep on trucking? Yeah, I feel like they sign off these things usually with something. But what relevance does keep on trucking have? Look, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to stick with keep on trucking.